So it's early fall. The red Italian basil is going to seed along with the large leaf basil going to seed. The elephant ears are starting to get a little bit wilty, browning off on the edges, getting ready for the fall demise. And this year's cannas truly surviving a really hard spring frost, getting taller than they ever was. Our zinnias still blooming, but pretty soon it's going to cool down and they'll start turning brown and going to seed. We've saved a lot of seed this year, and look at this sunflower seed. That thing is huge. It grew about 14 feet this year. Kind of proud of that, considering I started it from seed. One of the most rewarding things you can do when you're gardening. Oh, look, there's Mayhem. Hi, Mayhem. Come here, kitty. Come here, Wugger. Hey, Busky. Oh, she's a scaredy. Wildcat. Marigolds. These were from last year. Marty saved them in an envelope and planted them this spring, and they did great. Best thing you can do is plant things from seed. Save your seeds. We still have Roma tomatoes coming up. I think they'll do all right till it gets a little colder. There it is. These little red pods grew from a bean. It was like a kidney bean that I grew. And Scarlet Climber, that's what it was called. We got it from Baker Seed Company. But it was a pleasant surprise. This thing got over 10 foot tall. It pulled down the trellis I had set up for it. And I have more seeds. I'll definitely plant them again. And they liked planting, being interplanted with the zinnias. Wild raspberries. They've done all right. It was some new starts from a friend. And a better gardener than me today would have gotten in there this morning and planted garlic in this bed. I had a whole haul of garlic come out of this bed last year. And being mid-October, I would have liked to have put some more into it. But I've got some pepper plants I put in here as extras. And yeah, as you can see, they're still growing. I'm going to let them go for a while. Walking out here, everything's turning. All kinds of leaves falling down. Cherry tomatoes. Anybody who likes fried green tomatoes, this is your time of year. I have a ton. I've always said I pretty much like these flowers so much better than I ever liked eating okra. I thought maybe the red okra plants would put out red okra flowers, but no, just red okra stalks and red okra. I grew my first batch of sweet corn in this hill this year, and it was awesome. My favorite part of this year was growing new things I did in some corn, and then in this spot I did broccoli, cauliflower, and onions in the spring, and everything produced and tasted great. Loved it. Other firsts, planting zinnias out in the garden. I enjoyed that. I've got tons of zinnia seeds. I'll do it again. Planted some green beans this year. Really, I've tried a couple times to do well with green beans, and this year I was rewarded. They've done super good. I never imagined. But if you're going to process green beans, you got to pick them and pull the strings off and things like that, and they're kind of a pain. Again, another first. Squash. Every year we have squash bugs, and they totally devour our plants. This plant got knocked out. I never got anything out of this plant other than the opportunity to water it. But we did get a few more squash this year than last year by planting in the fall. And sometimes you don't have to be afraid to experiment. I've always used these rings. I call it my root zone. You water, and the water goes in there. You fertilize, and the fertilizer goes in there. And if you're fighting squash bugs, the diatomaceous earth goes in there too. So then they grow up in the cages. You trim the leaves off so you can see the squash bugs and gleefully smash them, because my favorite perfume in the summer is squash bug. But anyway, still, you see blooms, not much action. I don't know. We got a few squash, but it was a bit of an effort. I wouldn't particularly plan on doing it again. I can buy squash at the store for $1. But, oh, my homies, I have given my homies a ton of jalapenos this year. We've made stuffed jalapenos. I've cooked jalapenos in about everything we've made for dinner. And then our bell peppers. Look at these dudes. If they had a longer growing season, they'd still be going. But they're not gonna make it. They're just little guys. I've got tons though. Look at that. Love it. But we're still gardening. Marty came out here and picked off a bunch of green worms the other day. Fed them to the bugs, the birds, and the vermin. But look at this. When they're blushing like that, if we get a little more warm weather, they might just turn. I don't know. I hope so. There's one kind of turning. But it's fall out here, and you never know. It could get really cold just any moment. Okra. You know, okra grows so easy. I wish it tasted better. Or I wish the stalks could be made into petroleum to drive our cars. Ooh, look at that one. I believe. Nope. See, they're always like that. This late in the season, the skins get tough. That's what you deal with. But hey, you know, I didn't pay for a gym membership this year, just like last year and the year before it. Kind of makes it nice. Gardeners are tougher than you think they are. They gotta fight bugs, sun exposure, the weather. Not to mention, if you go to your gymnasium, you don't have to worry about if you don't show up at the gym every day. It'll die. Because, every day, if you don't water, it's going to bite the dust. You got to save the purdies before they bite the dust, right? So, teaches a lot of things. And now look, we had a storm, tree limbs down, everywhere. Nice. When you live in Kansas, the weather's unpredictable. We would have thought fall was going to bring upon this. But I'll burn them up. Another thing you never think about is all the wildflowers that show up around here. Like this one. Those pretty blue ones. Yeah. Those are called black-eyed Susans. They're wildflowers. And the blue ones, my favorite nickname for them, as far as I've found on Google Lens, is pussyfoot, which is fine. Sometimes you gotta quit pussyfooting around. Another first this year. I started these snapdragons in the spring, and here it is, October, and they made it. I've never grown snapdragons to last that long. And look, they're still pretty. See? Oh my. Kind of happy about that. Lesson learned. When you put manure in your flower beds, really start to pick the green specks out when they start coming on, and don't let them get ahead of you. Because look at that. Woo, what a mess. And this is something. Zinnias with seeds ordered from China. But yellow zinnias, those are pretty cool. Pink zinnias, those are pretty neat too. More pinkness, not bad. Here's an orange one. They're all different colors. And a purple one. And a baby one. Blowing in the wind. Because it's not going to make it. The temperature's going to change down that dude. But here's a Gabaradeza that has survived in our basement for several years. And this year it bloomed back 3 times. Just cutting it back, giving it the right amount of water and the right amount of food. But I've had a lot of fun gardening this season. And, anybody should know that no matter what your situation, if you've got a little bit window, a little light, and a little pot with some dirt, you can grow something. And there's a lot of hobbies where you can't do that, but this hobby you can. And if there was anything to be said about gardening, a lot of people can be included that can't be included in a lot of other hobbies. So I just want to leave you with the fact that I've really enjoyed sharing garden videos with you guys this year. And this will be my last one, but Thanks for watching, and here's a parting shot of a rose for you guys.